Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. This is Connie with Prairie Paper Crafts. I had a request from a subscriber to put together a Father's Day card, and so I said I would be happy to help. And we picked out or I said this is, the design I could use. It's One Cool Dad from Little Scraps of Heaven Designs, and she was agreeable to that. So what I'm going to do first is put the paper piece together, and then I will come back and do the card in a day or two. I have to figure out exactly what I'm going to do for a card and get my paper together, so it's going to be double shot. What I have done though is I have separated my pieces between the father and the sun bear pieces, and these actually go over here. There is a tiny little piece, I don't know if you can see that on the top of the hat. It's maybe a 1/16, not quite an 1/8 of an inch wide, and maybe a 32nd of an inch, or excuse me, approximately an 1/8 of an inch long and a 32nd to a 1/16 of an inch high or wide, or tall, excuse me. I put it on there because I knew I would forget it or lose it somewhere, so that's why that is there. I'm going to go ahead and start with the dad and his sunglasses, and I'm trying to figure out exactly, okay, so I have to take my glasses off. I'm still blind. I haven't been able to get to the eye doctor, and it's driving me nuts, so bear with me. So the glasses, the best thing I can tell you is have the nose piece go further down. I'm going to turn it around a minute, and you can see they go up a little bit. That's not how these are. The nose piece goes to the bottom further, and I do have the, well, bear with me here. I'm just looking at these. I'm wrong. I'm looking at the design. The curves do go down, and the nose piece is a little bit higher on hers. So there is a tiny bit of a curve here, but that's actually the top. So the more defined curve is at the bottom. My mistake. So I'm going to go ahead and I have a little bit of glue here. My glue, my art glitter glue, has literally having problems with the tip. I have a lot of problems with humidity, and that happens, so I just have it here, and I'm going to be using a lot of my Beacon 3-in-1. So okay, same thing with the black on the shade. I'm doing it this way. I'm going to try to get that little bit. Now you guys can see I really am a slow paper piecer. I'm way too fussy, I think. But it won't change. I can tell you that right now. It's just kind of how I do things. Very methodical. Okay, the reason I'm going like this and wiping it off because I had quite a bit of glue on the back and I didn't want that. So now you might be able to see on here there's more of an, like when I put it this way, there's more of a curve one way than the other, and putting the shorter curve, so to speak, or the one that doesn't curve quite so much at the top. I'm just gonna, this is the easiest way I can find to put sunglasses together, unless I do it different in Design Space, and I don't do that. I'll just go with it. There are my glasses. I'm going to put those up aside. I didn't put the bill of the hat on yet because it kind of goes, it depends upon where the ears and everything go. So I'm going to leave my glue here. If it doesn't dry too much, I can use it for my little pieces for my eyes and whatnot. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and start on my father piece, and putting his legs together like this. I'm going to go ahead and glue his feet on. Hope everybody's having a great day. I do want to thank all my new subscribers for joining me, and thank you to all my wonderful subscribers that have been with me for a long time. I really appreciate it. I am getting very close to 1,000 subscribers, and when I do that, I will be having a giveaway. I have no idea what. It takes me forever to get anything, which I'm sure a lot of you have been experiencing that. So, you know, one thing at a time. And I had another subscriber ask on my Facebook channel about, excuse me, some scrapbook layouts. And yes, I'm going to be doing some. In fact, I was working on pieces for one yesterday. I was designing it in Design Space. It's a Funny Farm from Treasure Box Designs. Oh my goodness. There are 1,000,001 little pieces. It is just a precious design. I was going through pictures the other night, just needed a break, and I have some awesome pictures from some time I spent a couple of years, a lot of weekends on some friend's farm, and it just has some fun pictures. One I should actually blow up and make it into a picture for a wall. But so I really do need to get back to scrapbooking. Thank you for the inspiration. I've just been kind of all over the place. I lost my mojo, and so I've just been kind of doing what I can. So I put basically the body part of the bottom part of the body for the guy, and I just, you know, put a little bit of glue on the tops. I didn't put it down too far, maybe 1/4 of an inch down at the most. This is a shirt, and what I do, excuse me, hope you can see with the gray here, I do try to line this up so the two sides meet the blue part here. So the easiest way for me to do this, first of all, so there's no flopping of pieces, I will say, I put glue at the top of the blue there, and just at the bottom here. And then you'll see when they come together, they will all fit really well. And I often have to hold these because of the glue on the back of the blue. Sorry, I have to keep my computer awake. I keep forgetting to change the settings. Okay, so there we have that. And then I'm going to go ahead, and you have 2 pieces. This is going to be his jacket. And you tell I need a new Cricut blade. I have an eraser here somewhere. This is an adhesive eraser. You can buy them everywhere. I think even the dollar store. Where did we go? Dollar Tree. I think they have them too. I've had mine for obviously years because it's so grungy, but it works perfect. So I'm not big on buying new things if what I have already works. I'm going to lay this here first. I'm not exactly sure how I want this, because they almost meet in the middle up at the top. So what I will do is just run a little bit of glue here along the edge. And then also, since it's going to go here, I'm going to put it along the straight edge of this piece. And I just have it kind of matching. Pretty much, get out of the way there, pretty much at the top there. So, and I tend to forget, I apologize. So I had some questions somewhere, I think on a Facebook group, what do I put on the edge of my white or my black to highlight my black pieces? I use, as I've said before, I use Stampin' Up! Ink mostly. Started using Close to My Heart, and I love that too. But I use white pigment ink, and you can use StazOn too. I just prefer this for what I'm doing. I will tell you, pigment ink, if you're not familiar with it, takes a lot longer to dry. So be careful that you don't smudge it, or you'll have to possibly use your eraser, your ink eraser, to get it off. So I'm going to leave this arm off just because I'm not sure exactly how I want it to go around the little guy. And I don't remember who it was on Little Scraps of Heaven Designs, one of the design team members. I think it was, oh gosh, look at this one. I think Lisa, I'm not sure. She changed the little guy into a little girl just by changing, I don't know if she took the hat off or she changed the colors of the clothing. It is absolutely adorable. And I failed to ask if we were doing this for a boy or a girl for kids, so I'm just going with what we have, you know, in the picture. And when I put this arm on, I don't put it all the way up to the top, just because I want to leave room for the head to be able to be assembled on there. So okay, now I'm going to start on the head in a moment. I have glue everywhere coming out of my bottle because it's getting toward the end, and oh my. Okay, so you have to be careful. The other thing with this is you have two sides of hands because you just have two paws for one and one paw for the other. Make sure you look that you have ears versus paws. It took me a moment to get that, so just to give you an idea. But I'm going to go ahead and put the middle inside earpieces. I'm going to use up some of my glue here that's been oozing out and making a mess, and so bear with me here. And I just put those little pieces so they pretty much, you know, just have a hair of a line around them. And I got my other bare ear here. And I have my head, and I leave the muzzle off. I don't do that yet. I want my ears down a little bit. I don't want them up real high. And I only put glue on the tips of this one. And I do put them in just a little bit, just if you're wondering. Well, that was not a brilliant move because it got glue everywhere. Only on camera. I don't have these problems when I paper piece off a video. I think that's just Murphy's Law, so to speak. I'm going to attach it, let it dry a little bit, and it'll just come right off. Try to center your ears, you know, across from each other fairly well. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. This ear is not going to stay very well. I tilt my heads. I don't ever put them, I shouldn't say ever, very seldom do I put them on straight. And this one I'm tilting so it's looking down at the little guy over here. So how I do my heads, again, kind of the same as the body to the legs. I put a little bit of glue at the top there, and I put just a little bit of glue, what's shining here, right down here, and then it keeps them from, the heads from flopping back so bad. Just want to make the glue, sure this glue. The Beacon 3-in-1, awesome glue, but it just takes a moment longer to dry. It's still quick drying, but not quite as quick as the art glitter glue, so I'll give you a heads up. I will put the glasses on in a moment. I want to do the face first, so what I do is just kind of lay that on there. And does anyone know where the eyes went? I just lost them. I don't know how. I will come back and I'm actually going to stop the video. I'm going to cut some new eyes. Whoops, there went my cane. I'm going to cut or look for my eyes and I will be right back. I apologize. Okay, so I cut my eyes, and while I did that, I also got the sizes, so I will get those to you when we're done here too. Come back and put a little bit of glue on for my eyes and put those on. I should know by now, especially if I'm going to do a video, just cut 2 sets of eyes at least, because I don't know, I was making the other day and I lost something too, and I thought, yeah, I'll find it later, and I did, and you know. So let's go back. We're going to just kind of place our muzzle on approximately where we want it. I put my eyes at a bit of a slant. And I'm getting that muzzle out of the way in case I get glue somewhere. I'll put it back in a moment. It just helps me to be able to place where I want the eyes better. And get this at the right angle. Am I using an EK Success? I don't know what kind of tweezers. Is it offset? I'm not sure. But that's the kind of tweezers I use. I want to quick do their eyes, so get my stuff out here. I use my paintbrush and I use black pan pastels. And this is hard to do without having my head right in front of it, so bear with me here. And again, I come back and fix the, if I get too much or whatever, I come back and fix it, so. Just a little bit more on that right side. Just, I'm trying to be careful so I can get them somewhat even. And this is an Tombow Mono Zero Elastomer Eraser. This thing is really nice, just because it's so tiny. And if you don't have something like this, if you can get a white eraser, it's much softer. It works so much better on chalk, just as to give you a heads up. Not that you have to. I just have always used white for my chalk. I used to make cards and do things with chalk and stuff, and I have a Pebbles larger pencil eraser, or chalk eraser, and it's also white. So just putting on some eyelashes. This is just a Pilot Precise V5 extra fine pen. There are all kinds of extra fine pens, or inking pens you can use. I've bought a few. It's just the one I prefer, so I just buy a box of them. And make sure my pen is working here. I will come back and put chalk in just a moment here, but unfortunately, there, that didn't go the way I wanted, so I'll let that ink dry from the marker, and I'll come back and fix that white of his eye. But I'm going to go ahead and put the muzzle on after I do his cheeks. Easier to do the cheeks before you put the muzzle on. Then you can get it underneath and hides any little problems you might have. Right now I'm using my Pebbles chalks. I told myself earlier I was going to go find my other ones, and I haven't done that yet, so just put them on the sides however you like it. No rhyme or reason there. And I kind of lay it on there to make sure it's kind of, yeah. I just put a little bit on the sides. You can't hardly see it, I'm sure, on camera. But once you add it in here, you'll see a lot more. So, just getting some glue on here. I used to only ever use Beacon 3-in-1 glue for my paper piecing until I found out about art glitter glue. And I love art glitter glue, but those tips are driving me nuts. I don't know what I'm doing, so I have to try to find some stainless steel pins also to cover or to close them, because my fingers throw things wherever they feel like, and it happened to do that with the pin that goes in the top, and I can't find it back. That happened with my other one too, and so I might have to get a new tip and some pins to be able to do that. Okay, so there is our little guy. I come back. I'm gonna let that dry, and if I might put some brown chalk over that. But before I do that, I'm gonna put the eyeglasses or sunglasses. I am only putting ink on the bottom, and yeah, it'll hold it from there. I don't want too much glue on, then we have a mess. So okay, then we take one of his hands, we're going to put it here, and the other arm, like I said, we'll do when we get the little guy together. So maybe I can speed it up here, but I doubt it. Got to do his nose. Goodness, we forgot. I'm going to come back with the white ink and chalk everything together. So I'm going to set him aside, and along with his arms, and okay, basically it's the same thing or similar to the father. We got the two legs, we're going to set them together, put some glue at the bottom here. I don't have problems with these flopping so bad because they're kind of right at the bottom, so I do not. Goodness, I was going to say, I don't put glue at the top of here, but you can if you wish. Thought I lost that piece already. Can you imagine that? More than likely I probably would. Again, at the top of the pants, and just at the bottom here, a little bit of the blue piece. I have put this set together before, so I, have a little bit of how it's going. And if you're new to my channel, I do have a paper piece video on resizing paper pieces for cards. I assemble my paper pieces in Design Studio before I ever cut them, pretty much so I know, sizing and stuff. So I'll give you an idea. The arm, I'm going to wait again until we get it over there. So I'm going to work on the ears first, and then we'll get the face going. Same thing here. There's only one paw here. Make sure you're getting the paw, leaving that alone and doing the ears. The ears are more pointed at one end. Guess that's the best way I can put it. Again. Alright, got glue. The only thing with beacon glue that a lot of people probably don't care for is when it gets to a what do I want to say, so far down, there's acetone in there, and it, because of the gases in there, it will start to ooze out a little bit, and if you keep it covered, it helps. Even if it's loose, you don't have to have the bottle cap on tight, but just to give you a heads up on that. All right, let's try not to lose any eyes here. I'm going to just, I don't usually work on white, I just work on my green or my black matte, so gotta get my piece again. I lost it off my tweezers, so it's harder for me to work on paper. Things stick to it worse. So, all right, got some glue on its eye and everywhere else. Get his muzzle on a little straighter. This one I'm just gonna put a dab of glue on. You don't have to have the fine tip for art glitter glue. It works perfectly fine without. I am going to just kind of eyeball this. All right, where did all my glue go? I tend to just dab it on a little piece of paper if I think I have too much, and sometimes I take too much off. Okay, chalk. You have to excuse my inky fingers. My fingernails are so grooved, I don't buff them down very often, which I should, and then I have ink gets in them, and as much inking as I do, I could wash my hands until the cows come home, so to speak, as we say here, and it would not do any good. So it just, and I can't use harsh chemicals, so I just put up with inky fingers and strange looks. Okay, this head I'm putting on to lean, you see, into the father a little bit, so it's going to be just a little different here. And with art glitter glue, whoops, I did it backwards, and also with beacon glue, you don't need a lot of glue, so that's one thing. And I know a lot of people like tacky glue, the tacky glues, like, I'm trying to think, the one is in the little green and white bottle. I used to use that, but my fingers would always be sticky, and I didn't care for that so well. So that's when I found this Tombow glue, and I really like it. Okay, so this is going down a little bit, not too much. It's gonna go over it. I want to get this arm on. only gluing half. I don't want glue on this yet till I put it all together. So if you wonder what in the world is she doing, that's what I'm doing. So I want to come back and finish him. So now that I have the ears on, I'm going to put the hat on and the bill. And the bill, we'll be able to just, everything wants to bubble today. I don't know what's, we had quite a, not severe, but quite a thunderstorm overnight, and everything is very humid. So, okay, what I'm doing is I put that on, but I'm going to turn it down a little bit so it, pick it up so you can see they kind of match. The curve of the hat will kind of fall into the bottom curve. And I put the bill on, I'm going to flip it upside down, remember, so the angle goes down. So it's coming, the angle comes down like that. Just to give you a heads up. Okay, so I'm going to do the eyes here quick. I'm going to do my best to do something with that. I have to get a new paintbrush. I'm looking for a stiffer, like a number 1 or number 2 watercolor. So it's going to be real fine tip for these smaller eyes. This one I'm really butchering, so to speak, so that's where you'll see my little pen or my chalk eraser comes in great. This one just doesn't seem to want to take chalk for some reason on this side. Fix that. Okay. Sorry, I have to get this. I'm thinking you can still see, but I have to be able to see what I'm doing, even with my glasses. Difficult to see. Normally I would do the eyes first. I don't know, I was thinking before I put the muzzle on, but you can still work around it. It's not that big a deal. Wait. Oh goodness. I'm just putting little dots here because that's such a small area to work and I don't want it to be overpowered in any way. This little guy, I'm just putting some little dots in. I'm not doing anything with the rest of his muzzle or mouth. And then on this, for the hat, I'm just gonna attempt to put a little bit of glue on here. And this is coming down fairly far. Like most kids, it's just about covering their eyes. And you can put it at a different angle if you want. So it's, you know, angled a little bit. Give it a little bit of attitude, so to speak. So then all we do is bring this back, and I'm going to put some glue along the face here, along the arm, a little bit down the angle of the eggs or the legs, and so a little bit here, and then just come down a little bit of an angle. So it's not a lot, just where kind of it's going to be. I don't want it all the way to the bottom or it'll stick. Okay. This is the smaller of the two paws, as you can see. So this one is going to go here. Whoops, sorry. Then I'm going to come back with this arm, and I'm just putting it back here a little bit so you can see it will just hang off the side a little bit. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue along here, kind of in the middle a little bit, and I have too much glue. So I'm just going to come on the back here. I don't know if it'll show too much. Yeah, it will be up, not too much at the bottom. When I put my arms on, I don't put them under the head too far, because think about it, your arms aren't underneath your head, they're underneath your shoulders, so I don't like them too high. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is with this other paw, come back and put it here, and it gives it the illusion that it's, you know, kind of on his shoulder and down. So on this part, I'm going to do the glue more at the top. To do that wrong? Yeah, of course, put the glue on the wrong side, or the wrong edge, I should say, because it's going to come. Okay, get my computer back awake. The rounded part of the paw is going to be to the outside, so I'm going to glue on this part. No big deal. Comes off easy, and I just want to kind of tuck it under there a little bit if I can. And all I'm going to do then is come back, excuse my arm and my reach. Well, put some white gel pen work and a little bit of chalk. I need my white chalk. I use titanium white pan pastels, and excuse again my arm, just a eyeshadow makeup applicator. This allows me to get it blended in much better than it ever did with the paintbrush. So if you are wondering, and sometimes the cameras for some reason makes that really stick out, and it gets blended in better than it looks, but just keep blending at it and it will kind of work it in. I apologize if you're hearing noises. I have my roommate, excuse me, the gal that lives upstairs, I found out is back. She's comes and goes a lot, so I didn't even know anybody lived up there when I first moved in, and they told me she'd been gone. So I'm gonna leave it at that, but I do want to put a little tiny bit of glue on this corner paw down here, just to keep it from gapping anywhere. Okay, a little bit of white gel work. Don't lose anything else in here. And then the rest of it, I will come back and finish the card with you. And if you stay tuned for the card, I am, like I said, going to be doing it in the next day or two. I will be, just to give you a heads up, so you have to watch the video and stuff, I'm going to be gifting this card. My father passed away a few years ago, so I don't have Father's Day, you know, to do anything. So I will just gift this card. So if you are interested, be sure you stop back for the final video, and then I will give you the information on what you need to do. But there you go. That is the final piece. I hope that helps you. And let me get the sizing for you here. So this piece here, when I resized it in Design Space, it is 5 inches high, and then it was like 3.2 something, comes out to almost 3.3 wide is what it is. When you put, I pieced this guy and then I pieced this guy, I grouped them separately and then I put them together and then I regroup it, and that's where it came out 5, and I made it then 5 high, and then whatever the width turned out to be, but it was not quite 3.3 inches. And then 1, and this is going to be the outside piece, so when it's grouped is 0.912 wide, and then whatever Design Space does it high. Cool is 1.61 wide, and then again everything Design Space does the rest of it, and Dad is at 0.919. So just to give you an idea we got going there. The card itself will be 5 by 7. So thank you all for joining me. Have an awesome day, everybody. Take care.